I'm here to answer the age-old question, if you grow a tiny brain from human stem cells, does it need to sleep, and what happens if you give it fatal familial insomnia? I don't know if this was my age-old question, but I have answers now. First off, you can create a brain organoid that has a hypothalamus, either an entire hypothalamus organoid or just put them together like Legos so it includes one. That can also be done with the brainstem. A hypothalamus is a part of your brain that helps regulate things like sleep and circadian rhythm. If it doesn't work, you may never sleep again. It turns out your individual neurons know what time it is. Brain organoids went through circadian rhythm in which they produce clock proteins. That's a protein in your body that is associated with a cascade of events that puts you to sleep and regulates other autonomic functions. And the researchers wanted to know if it could be disrupted, not unlike how we disrupt our own sleep schedules. If they gave it cortisol in the afternoon to simulate a night shift, it would completely dysregulate their circadian rhythm. They would produce less clock proteins, and in some cases stop producing them at all. They also tried cooling and heating them, because your body usually cools down when you're going to sleep, and it had a very similar effect. Turns out, every cell in the brain already knows what time it is, whether or not it has a hypothalamus. But what of fatal familial insomnia, a condition that causes people to slowly lose the ability to sleep and ultimately expire? Sleep is kind of important. Turns out, yes, brain organoids can get it, and it does disrupt sleep. Giving brain organoids fatal familial insomnia may have taught us a lot about the actual treatment of the condition. You see, brain organoids don't really sleep. They have something akin to a circadian rhythm, but they largely only give us delta brainwaves, meaning they're essentially always in a sleeping state. Fatal familial insomnia is a prion disorder, in which proteins end up sticking together and turning other proteins inside out, and they form plaques in the brain, and this condition is primarily in the hypothalamus. When you give brain organoids it affects them too. It forms plaques in them, but it also keeps neurons from effectively communicating with each other. Meaning, even if you are something that doesn't really have a sleep-wake cycle, you still have issues with your neurons functioning if you got the condition. That means it's likely more than just sleep, although not sleeping is not great. People who have fatal familial insomnia start slowly being able to lose their ability to sleep, and then they can never sleep again, and that's not great. I hope I've imparted on you guys that brain organoids are more than just creepy. They actually do a whole lot of good and allow us to study conditions that we would never be able to have access to because we don't experiment on people. They're not conscious, not yet at least. I am slightly concerned about the direction that this research is going in, but I'm not the only one. There have been calls to make a regulatory body internationally to make sure that brain organoid research is done ethically. If we do eventually accidentally make consciousness, we really should have laws about it before we get there. In the meantime, brain organoids are going to do a whole lot of good. They're a little spooky, I get it. If you like my content, you may follow and like for more. I probably will still tell you about it whether you like it or not. I'm a little bit hard to avoid.